Hello. I wanted to do something a little bit different today, where I'm gonna go into the dead drop map, and I am going to basically arbitrarily explain what traps are classy and what traps are not classy. Okay? So let's get into that. Alright, starting out. We're going to be doing a lot of putting down traps and picking back up traps, okay? Suppose you leave a trap up here. I do not consider the trap being left up here to be classy. It might. In fact, leaving a trap up here is excessive, because most Jaegers are not gonna come up here. And if they do, it's a little bit ridiculous of them. Same goes with pretty much anywhere else in here. Leaving any traps in this area is largely unnecessary and uncool. Let me just clear things. Okay, moving on. Suppose we leave traps just laying out in the open amongst these things. I do not consider this a very classy trap. In fact, I consider that to be a very moronic trap.
I better move.
In fact, any trap in which the trap is like openly just in the middle, like obviously just laying around, that's generally not a classy trap. Because, well, if you're doing that, that usually means that you're doing that a lot, and they're both very easy to avoid and diffuse, but also very obnoxious for an invader who is not bothering to stop and, well, diffuse stuff. Moving on. Then we have things like traps in doorways like this. See, this one's a bit of a classier one, because that's a choke point. It goes towards a choke point, towards one of the objectives. Trying to formulate how I'm going to explain this. I think a trap is classy if it generally is in the way, like on a path that you might take to get between objectives. A reasonable path. Or, if it would be reasonable to gain access to a advantageous position. So, for example, most places down here are classy, although I would say that at the bottom of the stairs is far less classy than at the top of the stairs. Because diffusing downward is much harder than diffusing things that are on the top of the stairs. Because this game is annoying. Traps that are behind windowsills are sometimes classy. This windowsill is a somewhat decent and reasonable windowsill, but to have like a trap behind this windowsill is just absurd, because this is not a usual path in any regard. I think that any trap that involves the use of the phones is classy as a Jaeger. Because any trap that involves the use of phones as a Jaeger takes advantage of, well, like the Harry has to actually activate them very actively. Now, a not so classy spot, I think, but a decent spot. A circumstantially classy one is if you have a trap up here, because it's not always obvious. Like, if they come from either other direction, this is basically just free trap stuff for them. But typically, a trap right here is impossible to pass from this direction. A trap that's up here, still pretty reasonable. In fact, any trap that's in this general area is at least slightly classy. Because this entire area is, in my opinion, a general advantageous position to be in. And that's one spot that I will be leaving a trap. I like to leave a trap at the bottom of these stairs, and I think this is a very classy spot, because it's clearly visible when approaching from this direction. But when approaching from this direction, it can be, well, if you're looking straight down, it's clearly visible, and very hard to defuse. But strictly speaking, this is a trap that you can defuse from either direction. Traps on these ramparts, when they're just out in the open, they're kind of dumb. But when they're like hidden in the corner, they're a bit cheeky. Like, that's a bit of a very cheeky trap. But I don't think that's a very classy trap. One could argue that at the bottom of these stairs is a classy spot for a trap. Although, that would be another case of an area where it is very difficult to defuse the traps. Right here is a bit different. Here it would be classier than over there, because of the ease of diffusing and the spotting. In here is generally stupid, because it's very hard to actually hide
They'll find me if I stay here.
It's very difficult to actually find a... well, to not see a trap that's there. Often I'll find people leaving traps
Find anything else?
at the top of this, just laying right here, but that means that if you come from any other direction, it's incredibly obvious. So I would consider that pretty classy. In general, I think trapping the entrances and exits to the Citadel here is usually classy. Though often not very necessary. Like, leaving a trap at the top of here, not very many people use this. But also leaving more... then that leaves me to my, the discussion about leaving too many traps. Because I think there are two directions that are classy to go. Either one, selecting one general location on the map to leave several traps, or two, leaving traps in key points, a very few traps in very few key points throughout the map. Cheeky spot that I've seen traps before. It's right here, because they'll trigger as they walk in through the door, and they're nearly impossible to see or defuse, even if you are walking from this direction, because this thing is not solid. Which is something that I rather dislike. However, when I say that the traps in this location are generally okay, that does not extend to traps that are basically out in this courtyard area. Any traps that are laid pretty much anywhere down on that ground down there are not classy. I've seen some traps on here, unless
Enemy vehicle.
this vehicle has been stopped somewhere on this, and it is itself is trapped. I do not think it is classy to leave traps anywhere on the ground floor of this area. However, the basement you could argue that it might be classy to put it on any of these stairs. It's excessive. Have it on pretty much any of the stairs. And I think the classiest spot is in here. While it is, I would say it is classier to have the TNT to this side. I don't think it's too unclassy to have it on this side. And those will be the only two traps that I'll have today. Over there. Now, leaving... speaking of the tunnels, now that we're in the tunnels, I think that leaving a trap pretty much anywhere in the tunnels, excluding, I suppose, the top of these stairs and the bottom of these stairs.
Over there.
is not classy. Like leaving them in like this rubble, because they have a nasty tendency of just disappearing into the rubble sometimes. Yeah, I don't even want to know why this is all black right here.
Hey, look over there.
However, leaving traps at the entrances and exits of tunnels. At this entrance, less so, because like I think it's okay to have a trap around right here, because this is a choke point, and this is a reasonable spot to have a trap. Anywhere between here and that door is much less classy, and if you have a trap here and anywhere between there and that door, then that's excessive. Personally, I think there should not be more than one trap per tunnel system. Or, actually, there shouldn't be more than 2 traps per tunnel system. And I think the 2 traps that should be in this tunnel system, if you are to do any, would be somewhere on these stairs and somewhere at that door that I have my other trap. Anywhere else is far less classy. Leaving traps here or here.
Look, over there.
I think are okay-ish. But this is distant enough. Like this location here is distant enough from a deliberate or specific what are they called? Objective. That I think it's unreasonable to have any traps that are located within this region. I'm being distracted by this Jaeger. Okay.
Guess I grabbed everything useful.
Now, this brings me to a very specific point that I wanted to make. Traps that are left in this grass. Anywhere. Oh, that's pretty funny. This guy just got himself run over by a truck. I think leaving a trap anywhere in these grass is lame. And not classy. And leaving a trap back here is also not very classy. And while if you have just that, see it? Classy trap spot. give him the 16-second breathe in. Okay. While it is possible to leave traps on all sorts of these doors, or these stairs, I think it's unreasonable to leave a trap on any of them because there are so many of them. And leaving a trap on all of them, that's trap map behavior, and it's not classy. So, I think in any case that you have to lay traps in order to cover every possible route, that is usually an indication that what you are trying to trap is, or what you are trapping is probably trap mapping, or is excessive. I think leaving a trap anywhere within this stairwell is entirely reasonable. But any more than one is excessive. And while I don't like to leave traps anywhere between here and that point back there, I understand that it is a thing that some people like to go over there. So I think it is relatively classy, though very difficult to actually like set up a trap up there safely. Because it is a focal point to go right there. Moving on. We have the back of the map over here. With this guy, this Gestapo officer, and the one guy, Gestapo guy, up in the building over here.
Hey, look over there.
Leaving a trap anywhere in this area, I do not think is very classy, as this area is largely unnecessary for any of the main objectives, or even the optional objectives.
This'll come in very useful.
And I'm not sure that there's any spawn points for Jaegers anywhere here, or near here. But if there are, that's another disqualifier for a trap. If a trap can and does intersect with a point in which a Jaeger can spawn in such a way that it would detonate as soon as a Jaeger spawns, thus killing a Jaeger immediately, it is inherently a not classy trap. Or in fact might be a very bogus trap. With that logic, much of a down here and back there, like over there by that bridge and that back courtyard, because it's of its absolute unnecessity of it. The very little reason that you need to even think about that area. There should be little to no reason to even think about that area. Come on. So, any traps in that general vicinity, you have to go out of your way to get over there. And thus are not classy. That's another qualifier, I think, for any trap, is if you have to go out of your way beyond the absolute path of just traversing from one objective to the next. If you have to go out of your way, like significantly divert your path in order to lay those traps, then it is probably not classy. Now, a classy spot, I think, for a trap includes this doorway right here. Anywhere in there, though, is not classy. The stairs over there, classy. This stairway, potentially classy, though debatable. This is a very suspect, because it is partially hidden. It's a bit cheeky. And with just those 3 traps covering this choke point to this, because this is a centralized area, normally I would say that the 2 traps between these 2 doors is okay in terms of classiness, but the 3rd trap over here actually reduces the classiness of this whole situation. And it's even debatable whether it's classy to have the 2 traps as it is, because those 2 traps are relatively excessive as it is. Leaving a trap in this room is very much unnecessary, because going in there is not necessary. And in fact, leaving traps down here should be not really. It's only slightly classy. Okay. I'm gonna sneak up on this guy. Leaving traps anywhere around here.
No way that killed them. It's not over yet. You look good.
Okay.
Get in there.
Apparently I was too stealthy for him. But yeah, leaving any traps in this, like, whole area, especially down there,
Look over there.
is not classy. Leaving him up here,
Look.
it's so far out of the way that it's not classy. Up there, not classy, because it's also so far out of the way. Okay.
Das bringt nichts. Hierhin würde Günsche ganz bestimmt nicht zurückkehren. Wen interessiert das? Hier ist niemand, der zuhört. Das meine ich doch. Moment mal. Was zur...
Go. We got a new one. Okay. Any trap in here is classy as an invader because it is in direct. You have to basically go up this set of stairs in order to get to the objective. But as the I would think that it's pretty excessive for the Harry. I think I want to avoid any backtracking because I want to continue then explaining my logic here. So moving on to this tunnel. Because like in this whole area then over there, anywhere that isn't like directly into and out of the objective room there is excessive. So there shouldn't really be any more than one trap there. If you do any traps over there. For this tunnel, leaving a trap either at that entrance or this entrance is fine, but not really, it's not classy to do both. And doing a trap in this tunnel and the other tunnel is not very classy. I don't think you should have traps in more than 2 of the tunnels on this map if you want to maintain to stay classy. Oh, that picking up this Panzerfaust reminds me that a common tactic that I've seen is actually to hide trap under a weapon like this. Especially up on the in the Citadel. I don't find it to be particularly classy. In fact, I find it to be very not classy to do so. Though it also largely depends on where the trap is, because I'm not saying that a trap has to be visible to be classy. There are some choke points that are so very much vital to completing a mission, or that a Jaeger might traverse through, that it is reasonable and I think okay for the trap to be not visible, but it should still be diffusable, so that they can go up to it and diffuse it. If they were taking the time to, like, look and diffuse things. Sometimes I've seen traps up on these ramparts. I don't think it's particularly classy to leave them on these ramparts because one of the spawn points for the Jaeger is over there, which means that they are naturally
Hands are fast.
gonna be on these ramparts pretty frequently. Okay. Making sure nobody's up there. You know, I really think you should be able to drop down from up here without having to walk all the way around. But you can. But yeah, leaving a trap anywhere up here is not classy because of how easily they... First of all, I had to go way out of my way to get to this. I was taking the long way. Going the short way, you don't need to go anywhere over here to complete any of the objectives. So having more than one trap in this area is excessive. To say the least. Now, in terms of the library, I don't think it's very classy to leave any traps in the library.
Better move it, or I'll be discovered.
Come on. I mean, you'll sometimes see people leave traps in there, or in this, poster thing up there.
No more to find here.
As an invader, I do think it is somewhat classy to, leave a trap somewhere in here. It's piercing ammo game. Though if you're doing a trap in this area, I think the only really classy spots are either in the way of this. Yeah, like that. That's a classy trap. See, that is a trap, a classy trap from the Jaeger.
Das nicht.
Okay. But having the player, the Harry leaving a trap anywhere in here should be largely unnecessary. And or even excessive.
Guess I grabbed everything useful.
Because trapping anything that isn't... Like, there's just so many paths to go in here, and it doesn't provide that much tactical advantage for the Jaeger to be able to traverse through here. Unless you are in here. And if you're in there, I think leaving traps is highly dubious.
Okay, stealth's out the window.
Sneak into here. Leaving a trap at this door, if you are the Jaeger, I think is quite fine. If not extremely classy. But as an invader, well, sorry, as the Harry, leaving a trap there is not classy.
Erklären Sie das. Sind Sie verantwortlich für diesen Schädlingsbefall?
Nein, ich bin erst seit ein paar Stunden hier und genauso überrascht und angeekelt wie Sie.
Okay. Walk through here again. But I also don't want to have to, like, demonstrate the... Because after I get this Jaeger, I'm gonna just continue to describe where traps are classy or not. Traps in any of these bushes are not classy. And are almost always excessive or ridiculous. And require you to absolutely step out. Go out of your way to set them. Now, I have seen traps in here, usually not very effective, because the close proximity causes the Jaeger to move slowly, and there's plenty of time to react to the diffuse bomb prompt. Trapping up here, also largely unnecessary. It is beyond the kill objective. It's... This building doesn't really provide that much tactical advantage. Thus, doing anything in it is excessive. Coming over to here. Just trying to think of any other spots that I know. That are basically absolutely classy versus not classy. Leaving traps anywhere up here, not classy. As I said before. On this map particularly, the tunnels are your friend, both as the invader and the Harry, so it's not unreasonable to favor one or the other. Okay. Alright, I don't know why I said favor one or the other. To use them. Because the tunnels tend to allow you to get around unseen. With relative ease. Actually, I should make sure that these two guys are dead out here. So that they don't get picked up. Back here, also largely unnecessary to have traps. Although, I can certainly understand an argument for putting a trap anywhere within here, up to the vines. And while I don't like it, I don't mind a trap being placed near the base of this. As that is usually the fastest way down. Though certainly not the safest. Okay, so they just use this phone over here. I also understand that it's not uncommon for people to decidedly That some people might, their path, it generally involves going up to the point up there and then using that zip line to get down.
I better find some ammo. I'm bleeding.
Fucking sniper. You can, still, jeez. Still? That frickin' sniper is still spotting me. Okay. Oh, hi. Okay. Come on. Guys up above. Okay. Fascinating. Apparently, you can shoot right through that floor. Okay. Maybe I should have considered leaving a trap up there. Well, we're gonna continue where I left off here, because I'm basically done. As I've basically gone over everywhere that I think is a classy and not classy spot to put a trap.
Find anything else?
But the general consensus being anywhere that you have to go out of your way beyond, like, your regular path to complete the objectives is excessive. Also, I don't think it's reasonable to use more traps than you are naturally getting by defeating enemies and traversing through the level. If you are purposely, like, looting everybody you can find, but to get traps to place them traps down, then you probably have the wrong idea of what you should be doing. So with that, thank you for watching. And this video. Okay. With the 31 detection score, I could have been better. Well, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, I hope to do a similar thing like this on every other map eventually. Probably much more organized. Once I have a more definite definition for what I consider a classy trap. And several of the other maps would illustrate some of the points that I like to make a little bit more clearer. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time.